The International Committee of the Red Cross warns a 3 to 4 month window remains to avert a famine that could potentially kill millions of people in 3 African countries, and including Yemen. The Swiss humanitarian agency says speed is of essence to prevent a tragedy of massive proportions in Somalia, Yemen, South Sudan, and northeast Nigeria.
This is not business as usual. 20 million people facing starvation is not something that we are dealing with every day, and therefore we really need to act now. And if we act now, especially in Yemen and in Somalia, famine can be averted.
Steelheart says aid agencies and donors needed to learn the lessons of 2011, where the response to the famine in Somalia was too late to prevent the deaths of 260,000 people, more than half under the age of 5. Close to 16 million people across Somaliland, Somalia, South Sudan and Ethiopia are in dire need of food, water and shelter. The drought-stricken Horn and East Africa regions have tens of thousands of malnourished children and families. In Somaliland, the drought has decimated livestock for the pastoralist community. And joining us via Skype from Somaliland is VOA Somali reporter Abdulaziz Osman. Good evening, Abdulaziz.
Good evening. Good evening from Los Angeles.
Now, give us an eyewitness account of what you have seen on the ground in Somaliland.
Well, the situation in Somaliland is very critical, and I have been traveling for the last 3 days on the different parts of Somaliland, the most hard-hit areas in Somaliland. And what I have seen is really very extreme, and I could say people are in a bad shape. The drought is actually affecting everyone in this part of the region. The nomadic community is losing all their livestock, and they have been telling me that most of them have lost close to 90% of their livestock, which they normally depend on. So the situation is very dire. There is a dire situation in Somaliland, and people and officials and everyone in here is actually raising an alarm, and they are appealing an emergency aid.
So, Abdulaziz, what has the government been able to do, or even the general community around that East African region area, or the Horn, to help alleviate the crisis, especially giving food and water to those in need?
The Somaliland government and the other Somali administrations are actually trying to cope with this crisis, but I mean, they have very limited power and resources, and they have been saying that they are trying to help out whatever they can, but I mean, they don't have the enough resources to cope with this problem. And there are a few aid agencies in this part of Somaliland who are helping out the community affected by the drought. So they are trying their best. There are committees, drought commission, who are actually distributing food and truck water on all parts of Somaliland and in the remote area. But that's not enough, and people are in a bad shape, and they need a massive urgent to avert a famine or some catastrophe.
Right, Abdulaziz, thank you so much for your reporting.